Yes, that best Bishop here. As promised, I'm doing a video on the topic of suicide. I did write this out partially because I wanted to make sure I got most of my thoughts down, seeing as I was sitting in the middle of class. Shame on me. Now, let's get this video started. So, like I said, wrote it down. First off, of course, this is about suicide. Now, I've seen two pages, both Spike and Cell do a video on suicide and self-harm. And I decided to do this random video, but I just wanted to first off say that I do not support suicide, nor am I against it, because, well, I can understand where it's coming from. I've seen cases where people just feel either useless or unloved by family members or friends, or just don't feel like they have a place in society. I've seen people that don't find a purpose in life itself, which I can relate to. And myself, I actually deal with suicidal thoughts and actually have multiple plans of suicide. But it's more of, I find this life a constant struggle. And so everything we work for, everything we strive for is all in vain, because we die with nothing. We can't take our accomplishments to the grave. We can only be remembered. And that, for me, just feels like a waste of time. Of course, I've heard people call people who are suicidal or commit suicide to be either weak or selfish or even a coward, which I don't agree with, simply because of the fact you're just putting down their character even more. They already feel low enough to actually commit suicide or even attempt or think about suicide. So calling them such names would be... it would hinder the point you're trying to make if you're trying to convince somebody not to commit suicide. And I find people kind of overlook that. Now, I would actually call somebody who commits suicide, or attempts it even, to be fairly strong or brave, solely for the fact that most people are, at the core, afraid of death. It's in our nature to try to avoid dying. And in their case, they have overcome that instinct of survival to actually off themselves. So, in a way, they are brave, and at the same time, they are strong. Some will say that it's a coward's way out, but I don't see it as that. I mean, aren't you technically a coward for bending to somebody else's will and slightly assimilating to the social norms to acquire a job, keep a job, make friends, or find a companion? In the end, we all take a coward's way out. Some just bow down and become the dogs, while others chew at the leash and end up running out the street. Now, I'm going to go back to the selfish topic now, and honestly, this may rub some people the wrong way, and I know I'm going to have a lot of people that disagree with this, but to call someone selfish for wanting to end their life, that's ignorant on your part. And honestly, forcing somebody to live who does not want to live is in turn selfish. So all those people who would say, well, think about your loved ones. How would they feel? Apparently they don't feel enough to help that person overcome their depression, or help them find ways of coping with that depression, to the point where the person commits suicide. I find that the loved ones didn't do their part enough, or didn't really try to work through it. They either put them in therapy, put on medication or just completely were oblivious or ignored it, which honestly none of that is good. If somebody feels worthless or unloved, they should not have to be put on medication. They should not have to be put into therapy. The people that they feel unloved by should sit down and talk to them. So, forcing somebody who is miserable and wants to simply end it is in fact selfish on their part. If a loved one understands, yes, they will feel pain at the loss, but they will also understand that the person they loved was suffering and wanted to escape it. Which is understandable. I mean, we all have our methods of escape. But no matter how much you escape, you do return to reality and you do see the ugliness. And I'll use some examples. Since depression can be a terminal disease in itself. If somebody had cancer and they were constantly suffering, and there was no sign of them getting better, and all they wanted to do was either kill themselves or have somebody kill them for them. Would you really make them live through that pain, that agony, and that misery just because it was going to hurt you? So, that being said,